Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the DELCO Cross Country Podcast. With you as always, my name is Kevin Key, and I'm bringing you everything when it comes to Delaware County Cross Country. This is the season finale episode of the DELCO Cross Country Podcast. Thank you so much for all of the faithful listeners out there when it comes to covering Delaware County Cross Country. I appreciate all of you, all hundreds of listeners, thousands of listens on this podcast in 2 years. Thank you so much. If you haven't already, make sure you give it a 5-star review. Leave a comment. It's for the algorithm. Maybe one day I'll get paid for this thing. Who knows? This past weekend was PIAA State Championship, and this season finale, it's only better in two. So this is actually going to be split up into two different episodes. My first episode that you're going to get to right now is going to be talking about state championships and why it was so special to Delaware County this year, and that is because of the girls from Haverford. I do want to give you a quick story about PIAA State Championships. I've had many stories as a head coach, as an assistant coach at PIAA State Championships, as an assistant coach for Cardinal O'Hara, as a head coach for Bonner and Prendy. One of my favorite stories comes 6 years ago, though. And this has a relation to this year's state championship and the reason why I wasn't there. 6 years ago at PIAA State Championships, both my boys and my girls teams made it for Bonner and Prendy. It was on November 5th, November 2nd, in which I was like, okay, they're up at state championships, they're up at Hershey, and I couldn't go. And my reasoning why is because my wife was due with our first child. The due date was November 10th. All right. November 2nd, I'm sitting at home and I'm waiting, and I'm getting texts from the athletes, messages throughout from athletes, coaches, just checking in on what's going on. And I'm like, I could make it to state championships. I can wake up at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I could drive to Hershey, watch the races, and drive back, and I'll be perfectly fine. Set my alarm for 6 o'clock the next morning. And my alarm doesn't go off. And the reason why it doesn't go off is because my wife was awake at 5 a.m. because she was in labor with our first child, who I've been blessed to know for the past 6 years. My 6-year-old son, Carson, I did not make state championships that year, and it's been very hard since to try to make a state championship, which is why this podcast is a little late coming out. His birthday was November 3rd. His 6th birthday, and we had to make sure we had everything set up for that party, as well as all of his sporting events, which is also why this podcast is getting out later than normal. This podcast is going to be mainly filled with an interview from the state champion Haverford girls program. And if you heard my emergency podcast on Saturday, I was hyped for this victory. One of 4 Delaware County teams to win state championships in the history of Delaware County Cross Country and the PIAA. The last one to do it was the girls team from Cardinal O'Hara in 2016. The Radnor girls from 2006 before that, and the Sophomore boys from 1963 to do that. Now, there were the 2 years in a row in which Cardinal O'Hara boys tied and lost on the tie, which I may actually get to in this interview with the girls. 2 teams that I was blessed to be a part of, 2 memories that I will never forget at state championships, and a lot of advice goes into that as well. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen, my interview with your DELCO champions, your Central League champions, your PIAA, AAA, state champions, Haverford. Enjoy a listen. All right, currently I have the team, the state champion Haverford girls program. Congratulations, ladies, on your state championship.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And this is a Zoom call, and it's a very special call. So I have 8 athletes, I have 1 coach, and I have a co-host. I have with me from the DELCO Times, recently retired, but then unretired. Once they take them out, you just fold them right back in. With me as a co-host today is Mr. Terry Toohey from the DELCO Times. Thank you, Terry, for joining us.
No, you're welcome, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
And as the crafty veteran, I'm going to let you take the first question today. So I'll
Okay.
let you lead the way with the state champions.
Well, I'm going to pose this for Laura. First of all, congratulations, ladies, on a great accomplishment. Um, what was the difference between districts and states? Because districts, you were, 2 points behind OJR, and states, you beat them by, I forget what, 9 points.
9 points, yeah.
What's the difference?
I think the girls had a great day at districts. It wasn't even that we had an off day. I think OJR maybe just had a slightly better day. I know they had one girl, kind of jump up in their team list. But I think States is just a course that suits the whole team. They're really, really strong runners, and they're strong second half runners, which I think on a course like States really just it suits them. We know that we have to be conservative in that first mile while still, getting in a good position. And if you look at the splits that were posted, they were kind of in the lead from the gun. They were in the lead. They were in first place starting at the half mile mark. And I think that they were just really ready for it mentally. Knowing the course, they ran at foundations. So every single girl on the line had run at Hershey before. So it was the first time that we've ever been to states where I don't think there was as many nerves because they knew exactly what to expect. And just their execution was flawless. Everyone had great races. Anastasia, who was our sixth runner, really came in clutch. And it was just a really great day, which we know is hard to do in cross country, to have it all just kind of work out on the day, but they pulled it off.
Right. I mean, I thought the key was that Camryn and Micah both finished ahead of OJR's second runner. And that gave you a cushion.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And they all went to work in that last K. I mean, they all made up ground. They all improved places in that last kilometer. And it just shows that they're really strong, last part of the race runners. It suits them. Right.
And I guess I'll pose this for Camryn. Now, this is a team you guys been to the state meet 4 years in a row. How much did that experience play? Because like Coach said, it didn't seem like you had the nerves that you've had in the past.
Yeah, for sure. So this being my fourth year at States and my fifth time running the Hershey course with foundations, I felt super prepared, and I know the other girls did too. And to have that sort of like veteran mindset of I've done this before, I know my race plan, I know where I'm strong on the course and in the race. I just trusted that, and by doing that, I think that we all had a really great race with tactically and running our own races.
And you did the same thing last year in track. You were second at districts, won a state title. That's an amazing accomplishment. But doing that kind of get you in a mindset to be able to accomplish the same thing in cross country?
For sure. I mean, having that sort of underdog mindset, we knew after districts, after seeing that we got defeated by 2 points, we knew that every girl mattered in that race. Like at the finish, you have to kick and you have to know that every girl matters. You can't slack off. You have to stay mentally engaged during the race. And we all knew that. And we all talked about that between districts and states. And all the girls were able to execute that, which I'm really proud of.
All right, Kevin, I'll throw it back to you.
Well, I know they're waiting for this question. I know they've been waiting for this for a while. I have to ask, how did the chocolate taste this weekend? Olivia?
We didn't eat it.
You didn't eat it? No, you didn't have any chocolate, none at all.
No.
We're
gonna saving it. We're saving it for the banquet so that the whole team can get a piece because it's like actually really big.
That's a perfect plan. I thought it was going to taste a little like extra sweet this weekend, but all right. I thought that was a perfect starting question for you, especially Olivia.
So I didn't realize that's an actual chocolate bar.
Yeah, we thought it was like a bunch of small ones, but it's actually like the chocolate bar.
I did not know that. I see it all the time. I just thought it was, kind of like one of those big checks, that it was like a staged thing.
No, that's directly from that Hershey's chocolate world they have going. Hershey did not pay for any promotion on this podcast. So Terry hit the nail on the head. We have this entire team is basically like a senior led team. And the seniors every year, 4 straight years, have now made state championships. There had to be a motivation to this. I know last year was a little disheartening due to Liv's injury right before state championships. What's the motivation going into state championships this weekend? And I'm going to give it over to the seniors first on this one. So I believe I have 5 seniors on the call, if I'm correct. So I'll start with Micah. What is the motivation going into this one?
I think it would just kind of like prove ourselves and just like show how our training is helping us, and to just like finish strong, leave it on the course, and just go from there, because we're all like super strong runners. And yeah.
Thank you, Pru. What are your thoughts? What was your motivation going into this one?
Well, I think for the team broadly, like we're pretty senior led. There are a bunch of seniors on it, so I think it was a very like last one, best one for me personally. This was like I haven't like committed anywhere, so it was kind of my last big like known cross country race, at least in high school. So I was very like, if you've been doing this, a lot of us have been doing this for huge chunks of our lives. So, finish it out well, I guess.
Thanks, Pru. Anastasia, I know you stepped up big. I knew there was a little bit of drama there at the end for Haverford in this one. What was your thought going? What was your motivation specifically in the last 100 meters of that race?
I just knew I had to do it for the team. Like I didn't want to let them down. And as Pru said, last one, best one. And without Evelyn, I just tried to stick with that OJR girl and just pass her in the last 100.
Thanks, Anastasia. Cam, what's your motivation going into this one? You've been at it for 4 years, multiple time state medalist at this point. What was your motivation going in?
My motivation for this one was that our team, we have the most depth that we've ever had in my 4 years. And so this was the opportunity to win, and I knew we had to take it. We talked all week about who we needed to mark up and that we can do this. We are capable. We have worked so hard, basically just affirming that. And so my motivation going into it was I wanted to have a really great race. I wanted to medal individually at states 3 times, knowing that cross country is my favorite. I love it. And so that for me was my motivation.
And finally, Olivia, what was your motivation going into state championships this weekend?
Yeah, totally. I feel like last year was a big setback for me, but the girls last year did amazing. Pru stepped up, which I know was definitely not easy. Like I can't even imagine. They all did so well last year. So obviously watching it, it was great, but I wasn't feeling great. So I knew this year I definitely wanted to like come back, and I was just honestly really excited to finally run it for my second time. But obviously, like Cam said, like we've been talking about it all week, and like we knew what we were capable of, and we wanted to go out there and like prove it and show it, especially after like losing districts. And we knew it wasn't going to be easy, but we did it. So.
Well, it's funny. Go ahead, Terry.
Or what was the strategy going in? What did you tell these ladies that you wanted them to do?
Pretty much what they've all said already, that they're capable. They've worked really hard. They're so prepared mentally and physically. They all looked incredible during their workout on Tuesday. That last workout we did some like really easy like primer strides on Thursday, and they all looked so comfortable and smooth. And just kind of reiterating to them that like this, I think Pru said it, last one, best one, or Anastasia, I forget who said that. And just sticking to the race plan. I mean, like I said before, they're such strong runners. I think the course really suited them, and just knowing who they should be marking up and who they should be looking out for. But really a lot of it came from them. They're such a close team. They've supported each other all year. And they've been working towards this for some of them for 4 years. Like Cam is the first Haverford athlete to be on a team qualifying, for all 4 years. That's never happened before in Haverford history. So this was it. But I think that they were ready for it too. We did a goal setting exercise in the summer, and they all said they wanted to be up there on that stage. They wanted a medal, and they did one better on Saturday, it's pretty amazing.
It's funny because I've been saying, I know a lot of you listen to the podcast. I think all of you actually listen to the podcast. I've been saying for a while that this is the ultimate team sport. Like, and I said it today to one of my former teammates who was on the podcast last year, Greg Thomas. I'm like football could be carried by one or two players. Basketball could be carried by one or two players. Field hockey could be carried by one or two players. Cross country, it took all of you to accomplish this goal. I mean, in the end, it takes 1 through 7 to accomplish a goal. So it's something you should be really proud of as a team. In track, even, you've seen state championships won by one person as an entire team. You saw it a few years ago. Gary Martin finished second for Archbishop Wood at state championships, and it was Gary Martin on the track. So I really believe that this is like the ultimate state championship. You should really be proud of yourself. A lot of background to this. Terry was able to break down only 4 DELCO teams ever won state championships. It was you, Cardinal O'Hara in 2016 on the girls' end, Radnor girls in 2006, Sophomore boys in 1963. You also had chips on your shoulders going into this one. North Allegheny won 6 straight state championships, right? And it's who's going to beat them. You saw that mile split preview. Who could beat them? And there were a lot of doubters. Remember, I did not doubt that you would beat them if you heard the preview last week. And Owen J. Roberts beat you last week. So all of that going in, how does that like affect our mindset going into a big race like this? With all of that history and knowing that you can step up and be that team that matches up and knocks them out. Go ahead.
Want me to take it?
Yep, I'll let you take it.
I think that they've just had this confidence all season. They knew the type of team that we were going into the season. And I think it was always kind of in the back of our heads, like maybe we could win this, but I think the fire was really lit after districts. I think that those 2 points were really tough to swallow. We were disappointed on Friday. We went in wanting that win. That had also been a goal to win the district meet. And so I think that they were just like, we're not going to let that one go. And we've got one more race to do this. And every single girl, including like Isabelle, our alternate, and some of our top JV girls, they all trained together. And it really did take the entire team, having Evelyn run the race she ran to help lead Anastasia to where she needed to be, to have Micah in 34th overall, coming from a girl who was 94th in the JV race at Central's her freshman year. She was 34th in the state. Cam, 3-time individual medalist. Olivia, top 5. Ryan having an incredible race and a great start. Like it really was, like having Pru step up last year and just being prepared to do it again this year. It really was like an entire team effort, and there's not one person who didn't contribute to it, which I think is just really lit the fire for them. They really knew that they could do it.
Yeah, and to go back, Evelyn, once again, she's had just a tremendous season, and I've been watching throughout the year. Someone who's completely stepped up big time. I know that Evelyn went down late in the race, and I know a lot of the mindset is what's going to happen. Evelyn, you took a huge step forward. I know it wasn't like the result you wanted, but the fact that Anastasia was right with you and the two of you can work off of one another throughout the race, throughout the season, that comes into a huge play, especially at a state championship meet. How do you feel? Like you should feel like a huge sense of accomplishment. I know that you also have like now a chip on your shoulder to go out next year even more so and do something special. How are you feeling right now?
I mean, it definitely was not at all what I could have expected to happen. But I'm really glad that it caused Anastasia to have the race that she did, and I'm just glad that we got to do that together. I know that it was her last race, and I'm just really glad that I guess there's a bright side to every situation. So I guess the fact that we were able to work together to clutch in that number 5 spot where it ended up. So I guess it doesn't really matter for me. I'm a sophomore, and as long as my race helped the team in some way to get where they ended up, then at the end of the day, that's what matters.
Well, it's so funny because I actually forgot you were a sophomore. I have it written down on my paper. Totally forgot you were a sophomore. And that answer is actually such a perfect answer too. always wanting to support your teammates. I'm going to go to the underclassmen with this. We have 5 seniors on this Haverford team. All right, there are 5 seniors here. So I'm going to Isabelle. I'm going to Ryan. Finally, I'm coming to you, Ryan. I know how much you want to talk tonight. I'm going to Evelyn. What are some things that you have learned from these 5 ladies that you're going to take with you and you want to teach to the next generation of Haverford runners? Ryan, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, these girls are just seriously some of the strongest people I've ever met, and they're just such great leaders. So I always try to incorporate anything that they've taught me into how I just like run my everyday life, just outside of running and in running. And for like Cam and Liv, for example, I've been racing with them since we were super little for CYO. So they've always just taught me lessons for basically my whole running life. And I'm just so like grateful for all of them and all they teach me. And I try to implement their great leadership skills to all the younger girls in our team as well.
Love you, Rye.
Look at that shout out. Isabelle, go ahead. What are you going to take from these 5 seniors?
Yeah, I think I like to train with Anastasia and Pru and all of them, and having them on my team just has really increased my love for the sport. And not just them, they just are the ones I usually train with, like all of the seniors. They've really like made me love cross country and like look forward to going to practice every day.
Perfect. And then Evelyn, what are you going to take from the seniors? What would you like to pass on to the freshmen, the 8th grade, the 7th grade that's going to come in and follow your lead one day? What are you going to take from these 5 young ladies?
I could go on for hours about everything that these seniors have given me. But I think that the main thing that I'll take and that I'll try to pass on to the new underclassmen that won't get the privilege of running with these girls is the welcome and the warmth that they gave me when I first came onto this team and every day since. I was not really a runner before high school. I was a soccer player, and coming into the first day of summer training when I was like 13 years old, it was the people that really got me to where I am today. And I'm going to forever be grateful for that, because there was never a moment where I felt left out. These girls always made sure that I was included, no matter what it was. I always felt like I could come to them with any questions, any concerns about cross country, or actually just about life in general. Like, I remember when I was very new to the team and I first started at Haverford High School, a lot of these seniors actually helped me figure out where my classes were. And so I think just the warmth that I've been given is something that I'll never forget from these girls, and that I hope to be able to pass on. So.
Yeah, I think that's the best part about being a cross country athlete in general is the family that comes with it. I mean, in the end, like you all accomplished something so great together. Something that it's a core memory. It's something you're never going to forget. It's something that's always going to be there. Like I know that you have a bunch of your sisters on this screen right here. You have a bunch of your sisters who aren't on this screen. A lot of success, even within the athletes that aren't on here. And I love that we're going to take bits and pieces of what these seniors have taught you over the years. Seniors, is there any piece of advice that you would want to be shared with your teammates? Any senior can come off mute. Camryn, there you
go. One bad race does not define you. I vividly remember Father Judge freshman year. I ran the mile. Kevin was actually there. And I ran not my PR and a time I didn't really want to run, and I was a mess. I was like, oh my God, like I ran so slow. I'm never going to get better. And I remember seniors or like older people than me, like Morgan Elliott, Aubrey Lena Weaver, and Kevin was texting me. He was like, you're a freshman. It's fine. So my advice to the girls now is that one race does not define you at all. And in the long run, it's going to go away and it's not going to matter, because you're going to have so many more accomplishments after that. And so that one race does not depict who you are as a runner or a person, really. I also suggest that having hobbies outside of running, because it's so easy to consume your identity within running when it's something we do every single day. And so having hobbies and friend groups outside of running is so important, even though we love it so much. Having those hobbies outside of running, I think, is really important for your self-confidence, self-esteem, mental health, all those things. But one race does not define you, and having running as a big part of your life, but not your entire life.
Kevin, if I may, I guess this is for the seniors. You know, there might be other teams down the road, Haverford teams that win a state title. But you're the first, and no one can ever top that. What does that mean to you, ladies? That you know, you it doesn't matter. You're the first.
I think that this is a perfect group for us to have the first state title, because we just have so much depth, and I just think it's the perfect group, really.
Yeah, I think it's super special. I mean, like we talked about earlier, we have a lot of seniors in this group, so it was really emotional for that to be the last one. Like Anastasia and Pru said, last one, best one. So this group's great, and it was really emotional and really great. So.
And I guess for Olivia and Camryn, any of the seniors, have you made any college decisions?
No.
Okay.
We're
I'm
close.
not committed yet, no.
Yeah, no, we
Okay.
are. But I feel like we're pretty close. I feel like we're just taking our time with it, making sure we make the right decision. But as of right now, just celebrating this because it's really important to us. So
You didn't want to break news for the algorithm, Olivia? I mean, it was for the algorithm. Miles Foot would have been all over this.
I also just wanted to add that this group of girls are just like, they're just regular runners who they just love running and they love each other. A lot of the girls here haven't even been to like a district meet for track, but they love cross country and they work so hard over the summer and they love each other. And the way that the training groups kind of work out throughout the season, and like just the thought and the effort and the time, like Kim was saying, there was like a stretch where like they saw each other for like 50 days in a row between Saturday training and Sunday pasta parties and all the other things that they do. I just think it's such a unique and amazing group of girls, just like a bunch of girls who just really love running, just won the state championship, which is also really special.
Is that what it takes to win a state championship, a special group?
I think so.
Yeah, and Terry, speaking from a coach, I definitely think just in general, the special group, they work off of each other constantly. I mean, I've had special groups at Bonner and Prendy, at Cardinal O'Hara, that constantly worked off each other and supported each other. And I know, and I've seen it with this group alone, that they're constantly working off one another and supporting each other. I mean, I could see it just in their eyes and their faces on this chat alone, and I saw it at DELCO's every time I spoke with them. I only have a few more questions. I did shorten it only because I know my time on the Zoom is a little bit shorter. What is one piece of advice your coach or your coaches gave you that helped you prepare? Not even, it could either be for the race or really in life. So I'm gonna go warm call first. So I'll let someone think about it. All right, whoever wants to come off mute, what's one piece of advice that you're allowed to share? I know Coach Clinton might not let you share some of them. All right, what's one piece of advice that your coach or coaches gave you that helped you prepare for success, either on the course, on the track, or in life in general?
I feel like we get a lot of advice, but one thing that I feel like we all collectively could agree on is something we do before every race. It's called Duck It Up. It's basically, Evelyn could explain it the best, but basically when you think of a duck, it's really cool, calm, and collected on the top, but like under the water, the feet are moving like really fast. So that's kind of like what we use when we're racing. Like we're really cool, calm, and collected when we're racing, like very relaxed, because obviously we know what we've been training for and all that. And then under the water, we're obviously putting in the effort and giving our best. So I feel like that's something that we always race with. And then I vividly remember, like before every race, Coach Clinton always says just go out there and have fun. And I feel like that's honestly really important because we do enjoy it so much that sometimes you can put pressure on yourself, but you just have to remember to go out there and have fun. And that's what we do. And that's honestly why we won. I'm pretty sure like having fun with it is like really important. So yeah.
I feel like a piece of advice that really helps me is Coach Clinton, and honestly, all the coaches always remind us that when you are running and you're like running for your team, which is more so like focusing on place, that's when the race will fall into place and you'll really kind of see the times that you want. I personally am someone who sometimes focuses in too much on times, and that kind of like takes away the actual like racing aspect for me, and I tend to not perform as well when I just focus on that. So just the constant reminder just to focus on people and who you're racing with, I think helps us all just to really realize like why we're doing it and how we can win is in the places, not the times.
Kind of going off of that, I think that one really helpful piece of advice that I learned for racing was that you're not like when a race gets hard, sometimes you have to remember that you're not doing it for yourself. I think that especially on such a competitive team, I think something that really sets us apart is how close we all are and how much we all care about each other. And we all knew how much this championship meant to each and every one of us. I know for me in specific, I was thinking about the seniors. And I think that that's a really helpful piece of advice that Coach Clinton has given all of us is that like when things get hard, or even if you're nervous for a race at any point, you just have to remember that it's not for yourself, it's for your team. And that also creates just such a great sense of family on this team. So yeah.
And then also just confidence too. Just trust your training, trust your body, trust your mind, and you'll be fine at all times. So just that, I think, always.
My best piece of advice that the coaches have given us is that we remember our controllables. We think about what we can control. We can't control how the other girls run their race. We can't control how they prep for it, but we can control when we come to practice every single day. We're going to give our best effort. We're going to focus. We're going to have fun. We're going to remember why we run. We run for each other. And just remembering those controllables has been a really great piece of advice because it helps keep my nerves down at least, because why am I going to worry about other people when all I can control is me?
All right, ladies, I only have about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on this Zoom call, on this free Zoom call, so I don't have to pay for the advanced program because, Olivia didn't drop anything for the algorithm, so PA Mile Split isn't giving me any money. Camryn didn't drop anything. Micah didn't drop anything. My final question to you, any shout outs that you want to give? We have about 2 minutes left. Any final shout outs, family members, teammates, anyone you want to shout out real quick? Does anybody want to give any final shout outs before we log off of this Zoom meeting?
Each other. Like this group is just great. So like I want to shout out all these girls. I would not have left as a senior without like either one of you, like, and the entire team. Like these memories are like something I'll cherish forever. So just shouting out these girls because that's like why we did this, so we do it for each other and it's really fun. And yeah, just shouting you guys out because I love you all so much.
Shout out Ryan and Liv for driving me to and from practice all the time. Shout out my mom for always encouraging me. And then shout out my training partner, Andy Federico.
I think a big sorry, Gab, you go.
Shout out to all the people who came to watch us arrive back on the bus.
I think it's really important to shout out all of our alumni, especially the alumni of the past 3 years. It is their shoulders that we stand on that got us here. So I think, they set the tone in 2021 with that first qualifier. So shout out to our alums.
For me, I think just the whole remainder of our team, they always come out and support us whether they're racing or not. So that definitely helps a lot too.
I think shout out the coaches. Like obviously, they've helped us so much, and also I think the attitude that they bring, like putting fun ducks on our doors and like bringing us snacks and stuff like that has been, a huge benefit to me, like as a runner and as a person. So shout out to all of them.
Also, our parents too. Everyone's parents were so sweet. So the parents for sure.
Ladies, thank you again. Congratulations. You're PIAA State Champion Haverford girls. Thank you for joining me on the podcast. I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you again, ladies. The Zoom literally just kicked us out. Didn't really get a huge chance to thank them. Ladies of Haverford, thank you so much for joining the podcast. Congratulations again on winning PIAA State Championships on the AAA level. A hard accomplishment, like I said in the podcast, a team effort. It takes the whole team. And in that case, you had a chip on your shoulder. You stepped up and you fought valiantly throughout that race. Congratulations again, girls from Haverford. That's the end of part 1 of the season finale of the DELCO podcast. Episode 2 will probably be released later on this weekend, breaking down a little bit more of PIAA State Championships and hoping for a few interviews also to go into the weekend and finally end the podcast for season 2. Once again, thank you. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe, 5-star review, leave a comment. It's for the algorithm. You got that, Olivia? For the algorithm. All right. I hope everyone enjoyed the podcast. This is Kevin Key, and I am signing off.